Welcome to Eagle Mason Invests, the place where we talk honestly about money, real life, and building financial control without the hype. As another year wraps up, a lot of financial advice starts to sound repetitive and frankly unrealistic. You'll hear the usual reminders: donate before the deadline, fully fund a retirement account, save more, invest more, do everything perfectly before December 31st. But if you're like most Americans, you're probably more focused on paying bills, handling rising costs, and keeping your head above water than checking off a long list of ideal money moves. So instead of pushing perfection, today's article is about 6 practical money moves you can realistically take before 2026. These steps aren't flashy. They won't require spreadsheets, advanced investing knowledge, or a huge paycheck. What they will do is help you feel more organized, less anxious, and more in control heading into the new year. Let's get into it. 1. Start by calculating your net worth. Financial stress feeds on uncertainty. When you don't know where you stand, your imagination usually fills in the worst-case scenario. That's why many people avoid checking balances on credit cards, student loans, or old accounts. The fear feels heavier than the actual numbers. One of the simplest ways to regain clarity is to calculate your net worth. Here's how you do it. Write down everything you own: cash in checking and savings accounts, investments, retirement accounts, and the estimated value of big assets like your home or car. Then list everything you owe: mortgage balance, car loans, credit cards, student loans, and any unpaid taxes or personal loans. Once you subtract what you owe from what you own, you get your net worth. That single number gives you a snapshot of your financial position today, not as a judgment, but as a starting point. Recent Federal Reserve data shows that the median American household net worth is just under $200,000. Many people fall well below that number, and plenty have a net worth that's close to zero or even negative. If that's you, it doesn't mean you're failing. It means you now have information, and information is power. Knowing where you stand makes it much easier to set realistic goals for 2026, instead of guessing or avoiding the topic altogether. 2. Do a quick beneficiary checkup. Estate planning isn't something you do once and forget forever. Life changes, marriages, divorces, new children, deaths in the family, and your financial paperwork needs to keep up. One of the most overlooked areas is beneficiary designations on retirement accounts and insurance policies. These forms override wills and trusts. That means if they're outdated, your money could legally go to someone you never intended. Checking this doesn't require a lawyer or hours of work. Log into your retirement accounts, life insurance policies, and any investment platforms where beneficiaries are listed. Make sure the names reflect your current wishes. Think of this as a quiet but powerful act of responsibility. It protects your family, prevents unnecessary legal issues, and ensures your money goes where you actually want it to go. 3. Make a small retirement adjustment, just 1%. A lot of retirement advice sounds discouraging because it focuses on maximums most people can't reach. Yes, contribution limits for workplace retirement plans are increasing in 2026. And yes, experts often recommend saving around 15% of your income when you include employer matches. For many households, that number feels completely out of reach. Here's a more realistic approach. Increase your contribution by just 1%. That's it. A 1% change is often small enough that you won't feel it in your paycheck. But over time, it makes a real difference. It also builds momentum. Once you get used to that adjustment, future increases feel less intimidating. If possible, make the change before the end of the year, so your first paycheck of 2026 reflects the new rate. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to move forward. 4. Lock down your financial accounts. Data breaches and fraud are no longer rare events. They're routine. If you've been ignoring emails or alerts suggesting extra security steps, now is the time to stop postponing. Going into a new year with weak account protection is an unnecessary risk. Take a short amount of time to Enable two-factor authentication on banking, investment, and credit card accounts. Set up alerts for large transactions or login attempts. Update weak or reused passwords. These steps don't improve your net worth directly, but they protect everything you're working so hard to build. Think of it like locking the doors before you leave the house. It's basic, but essential. 5. Review your Social Security record. Your Social Security statement contains more than just a retirement estimate. It shows your earnings history, projected benefits, and what your family could receive in the event of disability or death. Errors in earnings records are more common than most people realize, and the earlier you catch them, the easier they are to fix. If you haven't already, create an online account at ssa.gov/myaccount and review your information carefully. This isn't about deciding when to claim benefits yet. It's about making sure the foundation is accurate so future decisions are based on correct data. 6. Check your credit before it checks you. Reviewing your credit report is like testing smoke detectors. You want to do it before there's a problem. Errors, outdated information, or signs of identity theft are much easier to resolve when you're not in the middle of applying for a car loan, mortgage, or apartment. You can pull your free credit reports at annualcreditreport.com, which gives access to reports from the 3 major credit bureaus. Look for accounts you don't recognize, incorrect balances, late payments that don't belong to you. You're legally entitled to free reports, and right now they're available more frequently than once a year. There's no downside to checking, only upside. Final thoughts from Eagle Mason Invests. By the time late December rolls around, most people are exhausted. The idea of another to-do list can feel overwhelming. But financial peace doesn't come from ignoring things. It comes from clarity. You don't need to overhaul your entire life before 2026. You just need to take a few intentional steps to understand where you stand and protect what you have. Do these 6 things, and you'll start the new year calmer, more informed, and more confident. That's how real financial progress begins. If you found this helpful, stick with Eagle Mason Invests. We're here to make personal finance practical, honest, and actually usable for everyday Americans.